You know, sometimes a single piece of art can say more than a history book. It can hold the entire weight of a nation's trauma. Today, we're going to decode a painting that does just that. We're not just looking at paint on a canvas. We're exploring how an artist can bear witness to tragedy and force us all to confront a really difficult piece of history. So let's dive in.
Okay, here it is. This is Godhra by the artist Avaloq. Right off the bat, you can see it's a challenging piece. It's intense, it's confrontational, but it absolutely demands our attention. Now, it was born from one specific, terrible moment in time, but as you're about to see, its warning echoes way, way beyond a single event.
And that really brings up a huge question for us today, right? When you're faced with just profound violence and loss, what can art actually do? Is it just a record of what happened, or can it be something more? Can it be a warning? Well, this painting has a pretty powerful answer.
To really understand what's happening on this canvas, we have to go back to the event that inspired it, the literal spark that lit this fire. The painting is a direct reference to a specific date, February 27, 2002. On that day, an attack on a train at a town called Godhra became the catalyst for one of the absolute darkest chapters of communal violence in modern Indian history. It was a moment of just immense pain and incredible complexity.
But here's the key thing. The artist, Avaloq, isn't just trying to create a historical document of that day. They're doing something much more profound. They're reimagining the whole thing, using the language of art to talk about the cyclical, unending nature of this kind of hatred.
And this is where we get to the core of it. We're going to break down the powerful visual language the artist is using to communicate the absolute horror of this violence. So the first thing that just grabs you is the railroad itself. I mean, look closer at the tracks. Those aren't wooden railroad ties. They're not made of steel. The artist has built this railroad out of what look like glowing human bones. Now, that's not just for shock value. It's an incredibly powerful metaphor. The bone sleepers are suggesting that the violence of today is literally built on the foundations of past tragedies. That eerie glow? It's like the restless spirits of victims who haven't been forgotten. And the tracks themselves, well, they only lead in one direction, towards more and more destruction. It's an infrastructure literally built on suffering. So where does this horrifying railroad lead? Your eye gets drawn to the end of the line, to the right side of the canvas, where this massive, ominous skull just dominates the scene, almost like it's waiting.
And the analysis of this piece tells us this isn't just a symbol of death being the end result. No, this skull is an active participant. It's been described as a bureaucrat or a conductor of the chaos, like it's orchestrating the whole thing and thriving on the hatred. It's the only real winner in this terrible conflict. Okay, now pull your focus away from the tracks for a second and look into that hazy background. You can just make out the outlines of buildings. The artist has painted both a temple and a mosque. And here's the thing, they are both on fire.
This detail is absolutely critical to the painting's message. This is not about blaming one side or the other. The artist is making it painfully clear that in the inferno of communal hatred, everybody's sacred spaces burn. The violence consumes what both communities hold most dear.
And it's not just in the symbols. The artist even uses color to drive this point home. The traditional colors often associated with Hinduism and Islam, that orange and that green, they're in the painting, but they're not pure. They're all swirled together into this sick, contaminated, toxic haze that fills the sky. It's a perfect visual for how religious identity itself gets poisoned and weaponized in conflict.
So after decoding all these layers, let's step back for a second and think about the person who made this. What does it mean to be an artist who chooses to witness something like this in such a direct, unflinching way?
We actually have a quote from the artist Avaloq that gives us a window into their philosophy. Life/art is about stretching canvas inches to infinity, fleeting moments into light years. For them, art is about taking one specific, fleeting moment of horror and stretching it into a timeless statement, a warning that echoes across generations.
I mean, think about it. It takes incredible courage to make a piece of art like this. It's not abstract. It's brutally direct. The artist is basically taking on the role of a chronicler, someone who refuses to let society forget. The whole point of art like this is to force a difficult conversation and to fight back against that very human urge to just forget the past, a kind of historical amnesia.
And that's exactly why this painting, even though it's rooted in a very specific event in India, speaks to a much, much larger audience. Its message becomes a universal echo.
A work like this doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's part of a long, vital tradition of artists as protesters. Think of Goya's Disasters of War or Picasso's masterpiece, Guernica. Just like those works, this painting preserves the emotional reality of violence. It makes sure we remember not just the facts of what happened, but what it felt like. And that makes it a terrifyingly powerful warning for all of our futures.
So in the end, the painting leaves us with this one, stark, unavoidable conclusion. The tracks of bone lead to the skull. The sacred places burn down together. The colors of faith curdle into poison. The final message is a chilling one. In the never-ending cycle of communal violence, there are no winners. The only victor is death itself.